Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Club Junkie podcast. Hopefully, you're having a great week. I know I am because I've played some golf, and anytime I'm playing golf, I'm having a good week. So, excited to talk about a little bit about playing, a little bit about what I've been hitting, and overall, just a lot of that stuff. So, before we get into it, just want to let you know this episode brought to you by SMA Vokey SM8 wedges. The Bob Vokey and his team, and the relentless pursuit of wedge perfection is what they're trying to do. Increasing feel every year, increasing performance, increasing the amount of wedge grinds, all that. The SM8 for me has been great. I've been playing SM8 since last year when I went and got fit for them. But I've been playing the raw SM8, which is awesome. You guys all know I love rusty wedges, but tons of innovation. They've got some weight out in the toe, some tungsten out in the toe that moves the center of gravity out in front of the face, which again, I don't know exactly how they do that, but they do it. But the big thing about that, it helps you square up the club and basically get it on target easier and more consistently. So if you're squaring up the club face to the target, you're going to hit it closer, and you're going to make get it closer, shoot better scores, all that. But I really like the SM8 so far. I think they got great feel, good amount of spin, and like I said, with the amount of soul grinds they have, there's something for pretty much any swing out there, any condition out there. Like I said, I've been playing the D grind for a while and really like it. So overall, been a big fan. But the Vokey SM8 wedges, really phenomenal product, great wedges. And if you want to check out more, check out Vokey.com and check out the wedges. Try the wedge fit tool, see what you fit into, all that. But really, Bob is one of the legends in the wedge game, so hard to argue that. But yeah, the SM8's still in the bag, still playing well, still still raw, baby. Been a big fan, been a big fan playing those. I haven't really switched them out. I've been trying some other wedges and stuff like that, but for the most part, just been playing the old SM8s, which like I said, for me, I love the shape. I love pretty much everything about them. They just play really well. So I have played a lot. I actually played yesterday, Tuesday night. So I'm actually recording this Wednesday morning, like super early, just because I played last night. I got home. The little one was not having the best of days, so I only played 9. I didn't play any extra holes. Got home and tried to help my wife out a little bit. My wife is a saint for taking care of the monster on days like that, and especially even letting me go golf when days are not good. So I thank her for that. She is amazing. But so I got out and played. I played my league last week, and then I'm about to play 9 holes yesterday. I subbed for a buddy of mine, so got to play with another buddy of mine, Matt, who I haven't seen. It's so funny. Like, I haven't seen him in like a year or so because of everything going on. So it was fun to see him, get to play, see a few other guys in that league that I know, and play some golf. It was beautiful. It was like 80 degrees out, so I mean, you couldn't complain with the day. But previous on Thursday, had my first league night, and I played really well other than one hole. So I shot 40 with a 9. So I put up a 9 on the 8th hole. I wanted the 8th hole +1. I started out basically, I made bogey off the fringe, made a great putt off the fringe for bogey on 1, which I didn't. I hit an okay drive, and then I was kind of in the left trees a little bit, but I had a clear shot, and I kind of flared it a little right. It hit the side of the hill on the green and just shot backwards. So I had a tough wedge coming back onto the green, which I tried to like hit it into the hill and kind of die it, have it kill it, so it just rolled onto the green. And it just, I guess it didn't hit hard enough, but it stopped on top of the fringe. But I made the putt coming down, so I made like a 6-footer coming down the hill, which was great. Then I proceeded to make a par on the second hole, pretty, ho-hum. I think I made like the putter was red hot. I think I made like a 15-footer up the hill that I thought I left short because I didn't think I hit it hard enough, but I made that. And then the third hole, the third hole is kind of 2-tiered, so the front is what it's got a big ridge in the middle. The back is higher than the front. Pin was in the front, and I hit a wedge that I thought was great. It hit the hill, and I thought it was going to spin and come back down, and it just stopped. It just like hit and just stopped. It didn't move, and like even the 3 guys I was playing with were shocked that it actually stayed up on top of the hill. So I had this crazy putt that was going down the hill, broke a ton to the right. And I actually, like, I basically aimed sideways. I basically aimed to the left, hit the putt, rolled down, fell in, and that was kind of that was pure luck. I mean, I was expecting to just, have it kind of run by close, hit the pin or hit the cup a little bit. Maybe it would, shorten the amount it released by the hole. But I expected to basically have like a five or 6 footer coming back. So made that for birdie, which I was shocked. And then the next hole, played it perfect. Hit I think hit my new level utility right down the middle. Smacked the 9-iron onto the green, and again made like a 10-footer, broke a little right, dropped it, and I was like, wow, birdie. Ended up making bogey on the par 3 the next hole, only because I hit it into the very back of the green, and the pin was in this. The green's got this little like bowl on the right that I had to putt through, and I just misread it, and I left myself a long third putt, and I made bogey there. But I walked off. I was basically 1 over through 8, standing on 8T. I was 1 over, and I proceeded to then, like I usually do on that hole, snap hook my drive OB. So that was awesome. Reteed it, hit another one, and I had the G425 Max with that Ventus Black, and absolutely pounded one down the left. But I pounded it, and it had a little draw to it, which is fine. And it hit, and just like the ground's really firm on that hole, especially on the left side, and I needed to aim it farther right, and it hit, and just kind of it just rolled farther left than I thought it would, and I ended up having some tree trouble again. Like, had a clear shot at the green, or not clear shot, but I had a shot at the green, but just had tree cover that you had to get through for at least the beginning of the shot. And instead of just taking my medicine and playing out to the front, front of the green on the right, and aiming way right, or not way, but aiming right, playing out to the front of the green and just chipping it on, I looked at it as like, well, I'm already laying 3, so my 4th shot, I got to go for the green. So I tried to hit some like low 7-iron, under the trees and all this. Of course, I caught a tree, knocked it down, had to wedge it on, and then I just hit out of frustration, hit a really bad chip, and made a 9. But then I bounced back and made par on the last hole. So, but I shot 40 with a 9 on a par 5, which now it sounds a lot better than it was. But I was pretty frustrated with the 9, because it didn't have to be. It was, even if I hit an OB, which is fine. I mean, that happens. Again, I could have just taken my medicine. I probably could have walked away with a 6 or 7 and saved myself 2 strokes and had no problem, but I didn't. So, but the putter was absolutely red hot. I made a ton of putts. Even the guys in my group were just like, well, you don't normally putt this well. And I was like, no, I don't. But I was playing the G425 Max. I only really hit it one time. And that was on that hole. Like I said, the first swing, which it seems to happen to me a lot on the front 9, because I don't hit driver typically until that hole. So it's just one of those things that you don't have any driver swings, and then and it's that whole just plays with my mind. So I know, just don't hit it left, and you hit it left. And I just need to aim farther right, and if I play it out of the right rough, I play it out of the right rough. But I'm just trying to hit the fairway, and it's like, you know what, don't even do that anymore. Just hit it into the right rough. You're still fine, whatever. But, it's just what I do. But I tell you what, that Ventus Black G425 Max, when I hit it well, God, it seems to be long, man. I mean, I played 2 rounds of that combo, and when I put a good swing on it, that thing is definitely long. So I was surprisingly long, to be honest with you. Like I said, that hole there, the tee box was up a lot, so I was closer than I usually am. But if you take the tee box back to where it normally is, I probably still was a little longer than I typically am in that hole. So, like I said, that combo is really good. It's got a little more left to it than I think I truly love. And unfortunately with that, as you guys know, those ping heads, they're pretty heavy. If you don't, they're pretty heavy. They've got a lot of weight to them, which adds to the stability of it. So you can't really like shoot a bunch of hot melt into the toe or anything like that to make it more fade bias, because it's just already heavy. So I'm either going to have to find a lighter rear weight for the thing, or right now it's set to neutral. I do need to set it to fade and see. I mean, I had the 9 degree that I set to fade, and that did straighten it out a little bit, but I've got it set flat, and I'm going to move that weight to fade and see if I hit it better. But I also have something new that you guys will be hopefully very happy. I have a TSi3 head. So it just showed up. I want to thank my boy Johnny Wonder, who no longer needed it, and thank my boy Ryan Barath for getting it shipped over to me from the old Canadian side of the Detroit River. So I have a TSi3 head. I have a 9-degree TSi3 head and a 15-degree 3-wood head. So I've got both. I took them out last night. I hit the driver a little bit. I only hit one shot with the 3-wood, but it was an absolute rocket down the middle. So it'll be interesting to see how those play. So I'm not going to get into those today because I literally only I hit the driver, 4 times last night. So, I mean, there's not a ton of work there. But I hit some pretty good shots with it. It's pretty good. So we'll get into that a little more probably next week because I've got also some brand new Fujikura putter shafts to try out as well. So I know that people have seen those things, the MC putter shafts, like their Instagram, their social media, stuff like that. I've got them, and they're dry now. I glued them up yesterday into 3 different heads that I basically lead taped and got the weights all pretty much exact. And I just got to cut them down and throw some grips on them. So that's, and I've got 3 the same grips, and come to the same length. And take them out to the putting green hopefully tomorrow to putt with them a little bit and then putt with them some more until I talk to you guys next week. But they look awesome. They're pretty. I get the tech kind of presentation today, so this afternoon. So I'll get the lowdown. Just looking at them though, they've got 3 different models. It's pretty cool. I'm excited to hit them. So I got those. I got the TSi3. Head, so I'll be able to finally, when people DM me on Instagram at Club Junkie Pod, I'll be able to actually answer the question on how TSi3 compares to whatever other driver out there. So super excited for that. Like I said, I hit some balls with them already. Really good, or at least I'm impressed so far. So it'll be interesting to keep going with that thing and seeing how it plays. So, but yes, and then last night played. It was like high 70s or almost 80 degrees yesterday. It was awesome. Played out in shorts and a polo. It was great. Played with my buddy Matt. We had some great holes. We had some laughs. We struggled on a few holes. We played 2 other guys that it's kind of a 2-man best ball thing, and it was just the shots or the holes that like they would hit it into the trees. We'd have an advantage, and we'd pipe them down the middle. And then we'd find a way to screw up second shots and stuff like that. So it was, I don't think we beat them. I'm pretty sure we lost, but it was fun. We had a good time. And like I said, I haven't seen that guy in a long time, so it was fun to play with him. But yeah, I went out there and played. I've been playing the Srixon irons still. I mean, I haven't been able to switch them out, or I haven't had a full set of irons to switch them out to try anything else. So they're in the bag. I've thrown a few 6 irons in to play, but nothing's really changed in the bag that much in terms of the irons through wedges, and even putter. Like I said, the Toulon Chicago, I putted with amazing on Thursday. I putted pretty well last night, but the green's totally different. The course we played last night, which is, like I said, if you're from Metro Detroit, it's called Maple Lane, and it is, I love that they call it I think it's called like something like the greatest golf experience in Metro Detroit or something like that, but it is a shooting gallery. They have, I think, 3 18-hole courses packed into a very small spot, and there are a lot of holes where you're hitting and people are hitting right by you. So, but it's a harder course than you think, because when you look at the card and all that, like the holes aren't really long. I mean, some of the par 5s are a little long, but overall, like it's not long. There's nothing really crazy about it. There's only water on 2 holes on one of the courses. But it literally, the greens are the size of dimes, and they're all kind of crowned. So when you hit, hitting the green is tough to do. I mean, you have to hit it high. You have to get it up in the air, and you have to drop it on the green with some loft, because if you don't, the greens are kind of long and hairy, and they don't seem to grab the ball. Like when you hit into those things, even with some spin, that and the fairways are cut pretty long compared to other fairway. Like hitting in the rough, hitting the fairway there, it doesn't really matter. The length of the green, the length of the grass is very, it's very minimal change between the two, and you don't get a ton of spin. So if you have a wedge in your hand, even at like 100 yards, unless you throw it way up in the air, you're going to get some release out of it. And even that, you're probably going to get some release out of it, because you just don't generate an absolute ton of spin to get it to really stop on the green. You rarely ever are able to hit it and spin it back or anything like that. So they're just really hard greens to hit because everything falls off. If you don't hit the dead center, everything kind of rolls off to the front, back, whatever, and you're typically chipping back on, or you have a longer putt than you really would like. So I putted pretty well. I really only missed one putt that I flat out left it short. I read the line perfect, and it was tracking right there, and I just left it short, which was stupid. But the rest of I putted pretty well. I didn't make anything crazy, but I didn't also, I didn't putt terrible or miss a bunch of short putts or anything. I missed two putts. I burned one. I just didn't break that I thought. I burned the left edge. Thought it was going to break right. I guess you could say I hit it a touch firm, but whatever. I burned the left edge, so I didn't play amazing. I put a lot of bogeys on the card that just were, especially there too. Like you hit it in the tree, because the trees are the only thing defending the other holes. So if you're not hitting other golfers, the only thing stopping you are the trees that all line the fairway. And I wasn't hitting it entirely straight. I mean, again, throwing a new driver in the bag, but it was good. So I played like decent. And like I said, I had a good time. It was super warm. It was great out. So. It was fun. Got to go play. And then, what I've actually been liking a lot so far, which I've been playing a decent amount, which I know I talked about, I think earlier in the year, but I'd only hit it on the range, is TSi3 hybrid. So I've got the hybrid. I've actually been hitting it really well, especially off the tee. It's definitely longer than I thought. I was pretty... I was pretty impressed with how long the thing goes. It's got good feel and sound. The TSi3, it's got a good crack to it. The shape I really like. I actually kind of like the TSi2 shape a little more, but I think the TSi2 has a little more draw to it. It definitely launches a little higher. It's got a little more draw to it, where the TSi3 is pretty darn neutral. I mean, if you put an okay swing on it, the thing's going straight, if not maybe a hair right. I've got it set, right now I've got the heavy weight set in the toe, and I don't think I've hit one left in the 4 rounds I've played with it. But been super impressed. I haven't actually hit it off the turf a ton yet. Most of my shots have been off the tee. It's just been the way I've been using it lately. But overall, the TSi3 has been really good. I mean, it's one of those things, if you're a hybrid player looking for something, you can flight it down, you can hit it high, you can kind of hit all the shots in the bag. The TSi3 is going to let you work the ball really, really well. It's still not horribly unforgiving, to be honest with you. I mean, I've hit some pretty poor shots that have ended up in some good spots. You do lose a little ball, lose a little distance though when you mishit it. I mean, it's kind of, I'll call it blade-ish for a hybrid. You miss it all, kind of high toe a little bit or low heel a little bit, you're definitely going to notice a drop off of distance. When you flush it, it absolutely goes like a cannon. I think I played at Dearborn Country Club. I hit on hole 4 or 5. It's got kind of a dogleg left. Hit hybrid off the tee, and I've hit hybrid there before a bunch of times and been fine. If you hit it good, it's just right in the middle of the fairway, just smack it on the green. And this thing, I hit it, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. It's right down the right side of the fairway, like no problem. And I ran it through by like 20 yards. I was shocked at how far it went. It was downwind a touch, but nothing that I really assumed would change a whole lot of the shot. But went right through. But off the tee, absolute cannon. Hits it high, but it's flat. It's fairly low spin. And it's not as high as some of the other stuff out there, but I mean, it gets up in the air pretty easily. I've just been hitting it with a stock hazardous Black Smoke RDX that's in there, which is like an 80-gram stiff. I haven't swapped out anything yet. I may throw the Ventus Blue in there just because I really, really like that shaft. But overall, it's just a really versatile hybrid for players who forgiveness isn't at the absolute top of their list. If you're somebody who you hit the center of the club face pretty regularly, it's going to be a pretty easy club to get a ton of distance out of, to hit it pretty solid. Like I said, I did notice some drop off, in distance, which isn't, I mean, like I said, for a smaller, more compact hybrid built for, slightly better players, it's not out of the realm of possibility that definitely happens. When you flush it, it goes a long way. But like I said, you can definitely easily work the ball. You can hit the fade, you can hit a draw, but it doesn't have a lot of draw in it. Like, you have to do it. If you just take a swing, it's pretty much straight to maybe a little bit of fade. I've been really impressed with that. It really has taken a lot of the left side out of the course off the tee for me. More so than most. I think the only thing that I would say that might be a little more fade bias that I've hit so far would be the Sim 2 Rescue, which to me this year was probably the most fade bias that I've hit, of the 2020 to 2021 stuff. But it's, like I said, really an easy club to hit. It's easy to get, hit off the tee. like I said, I haven't hit a ton of shots off the turf yet. The ones that I hit well, they get up in the air pretty easily, but it is a pretty flat trajectory. I mean, if you're, if you're somebody who needs some help with getting the ball up in the air, I would say TSi2 is probably a little better option. But the 3 is a good option for anybody who hits it really high, needs to kind of, get the ball flight down, or at least keep it down, keep it more flat. If there's somebody who kind of balloons a little bit on hybrids, it's definitely the better option to go that way. But overall, I've been really happy with it. I've liked hitting it. I've gotten more comfortable with it. The first like round or two, it did take me a little getting used to hitting it well, and I don't know why that was. But now I've hit it really well over the past like couple rounds. But like the first few, I didn't hit it well, and I didn't think it was going to make the bag. I honestly was going to swap it out. And then I went down, I think it was to Coldwater a few weeks ago to play, and I forgot to take it out, or I forgot to bring another hybrid. So I was like, well, I'm just playing it. And I hit it really well. And I think maybe, that one round of hitting it really well off the tee was all I needed to kind of get some confidence in it, because now I'm hitting it really well. Like I said, I might swap off the shaft just to have something that launches maybe just a little bit higher. And like I said, Ventus Blue will probably launch it a little higher there, so I'll probably slap that in. But other than that, I think overall it's really good. I've been playing in the B1 setting, which is the standard loft flat, and that I think has helped as well, not hitting it left. Which for you guys to know, I mean, I'm not a huge swinger where that's the problem. The problem is my swing path sucks, so that's why I hit it left. But throwing in the flat setting and that little toe, or the weight out in the toe, so far the left side has been pretty much out of play. So I mean, unless I come super over the top and just snipe it left, but that's usually on me. But like I said, overall I really like it. Like I said, the sound and feel are really good. It's got more of a crack to it at impact. The feel is really responsive. You're going to know, do you hit it off the toe? Do you hit it off the heel? It tells you right away. So that part of it. And like I said, the looks, I've actually liked the looks a lot. Like I said, I like the roundness of the TSi2 a little bit better. But overall, this is pretty comfortable shape to the eye. I think it's a little more, squared off. It's a little more boxy than TSi2. But overall, I think it's pretty pleasant to the eye. And like I said, performance-wise, it's really good. Like those low heel shots are going to stay. They're going to come out low. They're going to come out low. They're not going to rise really easily. So if you're somebody like me who misses there a lot, you don't get an absolute ton of help on that shot. And again, this is more of a player's club, so I kind of figure that's the case. High toe shots, though, are still a little more playable. I think those things, you do lose some distance, but it doesn't really, nothing dives hard left. The ball still gets up in the air fairly well. It doesn't, stay down. It gets up okay, and you get a decent amount of carry out of it. I mean, you won't be dead hitting it high toe. You'll probably just be playing, a couple clubs longer into the green, or you'll come up, short and have to wedge it onto the green on a par 5 or something like that. But the toe shots, I think you get away with a little more. I think they carry a little more ball speed. And I think they keep the spin down a little bit, so you're not just seeing a big ol', keep the spin. They kind of keep the spin up, so the ball kind of still keeps going up, still gets out there, and it's still a more playable shot than low heel. Low heels, like I said, it's not death, but it's not great. You're not going to hit it very far, and or at least you're not going to get that much more distance out of it than you would. I could probably just hit my 5-iron for where it would go. It probably goes like 180 yards from me on a low heel shot, where fully well struck, it's like 220 off the tee. So, or probably like maybe a little bit more than that when really well struck. But overall, I think it's a great hybrid. I think it's one of those, like I said, if forgiveness isn't your number one concern for a hybrid, you're looking for something that's anti-left, you're looking for something that hits a little flatter ball flight, that you can even work the ball, I think TSi3 is a great option there. And like I said, sound and feel are really good. Like I said, a lot of customization. You can, change all the settings in the hosel in terms of, you can lower the loft, raise the loft, shut the face, open the face, make it more upright, make it more flat, all those options. And then you have the 3 weights on the bottom for, draw, kind of neutral, and then fade, for those weights. So a lot of options there to kind of dial it in, and also to kind of fit your gapping, because, like I said, right now, depending on how it looks, I may take it down to 21 degrees, just because off the tee, it definitely is a little longer, and on certain holes, I think it's a little longer than I'd like it to be. I might see about knocking it to 21 if the face doesn't get too shut, and playing it that way, because then I think also it'll be a little easier to hit it off the turf. So, because like I said, hitting off the turf, it's definitely got a little flatter ball flight for me. It doesn't, get super high up. But again, I'm not a super high ball hitter either, so that kind of plays into it. But overall, I think the TSi3 I've been really happy with it. I right now it's going to stay in the bag until maybe I go hit the Sim 2 rescue out on the course. We'll see. But right now it's pretty much it's in the bag for now. Like I said, it went kind of battle. The other one that kind of battled with was the Strixon, the ZX hybrid, and that does launch a little higher. I think it's actually probably longer. The ZX hybrid I think is crazy long, but it's been really good. So like I said, TSi3 probably stays in the bag. Been really happy with it, and like I said, maybe I'll take it to 21 degrees if if the face doesn't look too shut. But I'll mess around with that. Maybe I'll slap that up today as I'm building my 3 putters and see how it looks, and then maybe try it out tomorrow on the course. So. Because we're playing the back 9, so that one I should hit this hybrid a couple times off the tee, which will be great. Like I said, I hit it a few times again on yesterday and last Thursday, and hit it really well. So TSi3, really been a fan of. It's been fun. Like I said, it's going to stay in the bag for the foreseeable future, or until it betrays me on some hole where I really need it to perform, and then it may it may have to take a timeout, but we'll see. So. The next thing I'm going to get into is going to be some golf balls. But before I do that, the episode also brought to you by Fujikura and the Motori X F1 and F3. So Motori X line is basically, it is 10 years of innovation from the original Motori X to basically add a bunch of ball speed while keeping stability. It's just a high performance shaft that I think a lot of people don't know about because of the Ventus line. But the Motori X line, there's 2 models. The F3, which I have right here, which is kind of more of a mid launch shaft with a really kind of, I'll call it like a hot profile. It really maximizes the amount of energy that you bring to the swing and adds a bunch of ball speed to your shots. It really does seem like the ball just jumps off the face. That's the F3, and then the F1 is a little stiffer profile for more aggressive swingers that adds a little more stability, launches lower, but it also still has some speed to it. But the F3, F1, I've hit them both. The F3 I really like. I've played the F3 a good amount lately, but the F3 is, like I say, kind of a mid to slightly mid-high launch. But I tell you what, the ball speed on it it really does. The ball just jumps off the face. But they do. They have stability. They're easy to hit. They're consistent. But the Motori X line is really solid. I've been a fan. The F1 is a little lower launching for me. I'd say it's right there behind Ventus Black in terms of low launching. It probably launches for me just a little bit higher. But both these things are really great shafts. They have a good smooth feel to them, like you'd expect from any Fuji shaft. But the Motori X, it's been, like I said, 10 years since the original, and I remember wanting an original and getting an F3 later on. But the Motori X, this line has been really good. So, like I said, I've been a fan of the F3 in driver, and I think it's a great fairway shaft. Just like I said, easy to get up in the air, and like I said, crazy fast, and you'll notice a big kick and impact. So, go to FujikuraGolf.com, check out the Motori X line. Like I said, 2 models. They're pretty impressive, and if you get a chance to hit them, hit up your local dealer and give them a shot, because they're really good. And like I said, I think they unfortunately have haven't been truly in the limelight because of how well Ventus is done, but those things are really good, and I've been happy on a lot of Instagram DMs and stuff, and some of my Q&A sessions to definitely recommend those, because they've been really solid. Like I said, I've liked the F3. I've been playing driver. My boy over there, Austin, was one that last year. I was hitting sim, and we were talking, and I was like, I've just haven't found anything that I've really loved. And he was like, man, he's like, sim with F3. He's like, it's an absolute killer combo. So he sent me an F3. I slapped it in there, and I hated to admit to him that he was right. It was a pretty darn good combo. So it was really good. So I played that for a little while. But no, Motori X F1 and F3, check them out. They're great shafts. So we're gonna get into a golf ball. So I know there's a ton of, the more we're seeing, the more as we grow up in this, or at least for me, as you grow up in this internet age, and people definitely younger than me, buying stuff online is the biggest thing. You go onto Amazon, you put a bunch of stuff in your cart, you you hit checkout and it's there in 2 days. Like that's just like the world we live in. It's starting to become part of like everything, whether it's food, whether it's toilet paper, whether it's, just electronics, whatever. You go online, you buy it, you have it within a couple days. It's right at your door. You don't have to go to a store. And a lot of that stuff is starting to happen in the golf world. You're starting to see more online sales, especially now during like COVID and things like that. You're definitely seeing more and more online sales. And the big, a big thing about that is direct-to-consumer golf balls. So I know you've been seeing, a lot of brands out there that, they're basically making a high-performance tour ball at a lower price, and you buy it online, or you buy it online in multiple dozens, you get a discount, and, the balls turn out to be $30 a dozen or $25 a dozen or whatever the amount is for that brand. And you're getting a pretty high-quality product for a low price, and everybody's trying to basically battle all the high-end tour balls and make an equivalent, if not better, ball for a much lower price. And the way they're doing it is say they're not spending it on marketing, they're not getting tour players to use it, they're just and you're buying multiple dozens, so it's kind of the buy it in bulk thing. So the latest one that I actually didn't even know they existed until they basically sent me some golf balls was basically Sugar Golf. So I'm gonna grab the cube. So Sugar Golf basically started like most of the other brands, and that was they had two guys who were big time golfers, loved playing high end tour balls, and hated losing them. Hated the fact that they were losing golf balls and spending $45-50 plus on a dozen golf balls and then losing them. And I think we all hate doing that. You hate opening that box of whatever tour ball you play and then smacking the first one OB and never finding it, and that like $5 is gone. So or close to it. So it's so that's how they started. They basically wanted to make a tour ball that was affordable, and they kind of basically modeled theirs after after the Pro V1. They basically went out and said, we're going to make a Pro V1 golf ball, and then they and that's what they kind of went after. So they modeled their Sugar golf ball after the 2020 Pro V1. If you go on their site, which is sugar.golf, they've got a bunch of data that how it compares, in terms of driver carry and mid-iron wedge or whatever, and spin rates and all that. So they've got a bunch of robot data, which it's robot data. I mean, it's not the way that robots are robots, which is nice. You can kind of take that variable out. I know there's some other reviews online. I think TXG did one, and a few others that reviewed them and have some pretty good feedback and data on it. And they sent me a cube, a sugar cube, which is kind of an interesting way they do it. But it's kind of it's a way to save money and lower the price. So what they do is, you can get 27 golf balls, which I know is kind of an odd number in the world of golf because we're so used to dozens and all that. But it's 27 golf balls fit in this nice little cube that comes directly to your home, and it's for one cube it's $69. If you're willing to buy two, I think they go down to $64 and more. I think they're $64, but that price includes shipping, taxes, everything. So it's basically $69 or $64 right to your door. That's it. And there's no sleeves, anything. When you open this thing up, it's just got 27 golf balls all stacked up in there. And and yeah, it's a pretty interesting little package. They're just taped up. And they basically say they do that just to save on money. They don't have to pay for sleeves. They don't have to pay for extra packaging for dozens. A dozen is a two-sided box. You got printing all over it, all that. I mean, this is a white cardboard box that has a little bit of stuff on it, and it has the Sugar Golf logo. Like, that's it. So they save a lot of money on that. And then, like I said, the price includes shipping, includes taxes right to your door. So it's pretty much, if you just want one of these, it's $69 for just over 2 dozen golf balls, which breaks down to be, a little less than $35 a dozen. And I think I threw it on my old little calculator here. And I think if you do, hold on, let me put it here. If you do basically 1 dozen, it basically turns out at $2.56 a golf ball, which isn't too bad. I mean, you're not going to find too many golf balls at $2.56. And if you were to basically buy a dozen golf balls at that price, you're looking at just under $31 with taxes. So depending on where you live and whatever sales tax is and all that, it's a pretty pretty inexpensive dozen for a urethane cover tour ball, which is what it is. So it's a 3-piece golf ball. It's got a urethane cover, and it's basically modeled after a Pro V1. I mean, that's what it's meant to do. Excuse me. And I do have to say, it plays really well. So I've got it out. I played the past couple rounds with them. I threw a few in my bag, and it's played really well. I will say the one thing that I don't love when you open the box, and I found this to be a little bit with some direct-to-consumer golf balls, there's somewhat of a different look to it, and I hate to call it like a cheaper look or whatever, but it's just it's something with the way the dimples and the gloss on it is finished. I want to say it's like much higher gloss than maybe a typical golf ball, whatever it is. It's just got a little different look to it that I don't necessarily love, but you get over it pretty quick. Once you put it in play, you don't really care. Out of the box, like I said, that's my only complaint with it. They've got their little sugar logo, so it just says sugar, and then it's got 1, 2, 3, and 4s, just like a normal set of golf or dozen golf balls. And then they've also got a little alignment line, which is pretty much no frills. It's an alignment line with a little that comes to a point at one end, and other than that, that's it. So the logo is not much bigger than anything else. It's maybe a hair larger than say what would be a Titleist or TaylorMade, a little smaller than Callaway. I know the Callaway logo's gotten a little bigger on some of the new balls, but overall it's a pretty nice package. It's kind of a script logo, and it's a pretty when you set it down, when you go look for your ball, I mean it's nothing that distracts you, anything like that. So the looks of it are really good. The alignment aid works really well. I don't typically use an alignment aid, but I did anyway just because I had the balls and let's just try it. And actually, I won't say I never use an alignment aid. On like 5-foot or 6-foot par putts, I use an alignment aid, and it worked really well. I tell you what, it was easy to line up. It was easy to just set down. You set it down behind your marker, line it up where you needed to hit it, and it was right there. So overall, I think the graphics, all that, are pretty simple. They're not distracting in any way. There's nothing crazy on it. The logo is small enough where I don't think you're going to be, like I said, distracted or anything by it. It's so out there, the first thing I did when I got the box, I broke it open, which I should have taken more pictures, but I broke it open and basically just hit some putts in my basement with them. And it's definitely got a soft feel to them. They definitely are more Pro V1 than Pro V1X, definitely a softer feel. I would say actually maybe even a hair softer than the Pro V1X. Not by much. I think it's really comparable. I think depending on the putter, it may be really hard to tell. But I just grabbed like a Bettinardi. What did I have? I don't remember what it is, but a Bettinardi, no insert putter, just solid milled. And I think it's actually just maybe a hair softer. On my Toulon, same thing. My Toulon Chicago, really soft feel to it. Same thing with the wedges, even with kind of partial shots or small chips. Just a really soft feel to it that is kind of nice. It's definitely not firm by any means. Performance-wise off the tee was really good. I think I had some really long shots with it. Like I said, some of those shots I said that hit that G425 Max. I hit one of the balls there that I absolutely just nuked, and that went a long way. Same thing yesterday. I with that TSi3, I hit. It was one of the I can't remember what hole it was, but it had big dogleg left. But it's really a tough hole because you have to absolutely crush it to get it to the actual dog leg to hit it onto the green. And we went out, found my partner's ball. I'm looking all over. There were a couple balls like in our fairway from other holes. And I walked up and I was like, oh, this must be mine. Nope. And then I was like, there's a ball like 50 yards up there. And I was like, it can't be mine. Like there's just, I couldn't hit it that far. I walked up and that was mine. So it's definitely long off the tee. Whether it's hitting a 3-wood, hitting a driver, it's definitely long off the tee. It's a pretty, I would call it mid to slightly mid-high launch. And it definitely keeps the spin down. I didn't notice anything with any type of rise, any type of ballooning, anything like that. It stays pretty straight. And it seems to be pretty controllable off the tee. You can hit it low. I mean, if that's something you're going to do with, say, like a 3-wood or a hybrid, I mean, you can work it. You can hit it low. You can hit it high. You can definitely hit a little fade. You can hit some draws. I mean, it's definitely a workable golf ball. But off the tee, it's pretty long. It seems to be fairly low spin. It seems to be pretty long. It was something that if you had no logo on it and said, this is a, whatever tour ball, I probably would have believed you. It really did play. I mean, maybe not like Chrome Soft because those are softer than this, but no, like I said, if you would have said, hey, this is just a new tour ball, had no logo on it, and you just hit it, I wouldn't have any reason to disagree with you. But it did really play well. You know, I on it there, I had no problem with it in terms of control or anything like that. It just goes. It seems to be pretty long. I don't know that it's necessarily crazy long than anything else out there. Like I said, their website shows like a driver with a high, 112 club head speed may see like 4 yards, which I think all of us know that 4 yards with a driver at our amateur levels is really hard to show out on the course. But like I said, this thing, it kept up. I hit it to spots that I hit pretty much everything else, if not maybe a hair longer in certain situations. So I think it definitely, if it isn't longer, it definitely keeps up with any other tour ball that I've hit this year. Launch-wise, like I said, kind of a mid-high launch. I would say it actually was launching maybe probably just a hair lower than Srixon Z-Star XV that I've been playing a little bit up until like last week when I started putting these in play. I would say it launches just maybe a hair lower than that. And is a little softer than that ball as well. I would say it's kind of that Z-Star feel, but probably just maybe a smidge higher launch. But like I said, that it was pretty controllable there off the tee. Mid irons are pretty good. Same thing. Ball was kind of at that mid to slightly mid high launch. It held up in the wind pretty well. I was because I played last Thursday. It was pretty windy on a few holes. Held up in the wind really well. I mean, it pushed it maybe a little more than maybe like Callaway's kind of the standard when it comes to wind balls. It got pushed around a little more than that. I think the TaylorMade TP stuff is probably right behind. I would say it holds up just as well as Srixon or Titleist in terms of the wind. It'll get pushed around a little bit, but not a ton. It pierces through it pretty well. I didn't notice that it came up anywhere shorter when you're hitting it into the wind or anything like that. It definitely didn't rise too much into the wind. It pierced through it pretty well. It holds the green pretty well. I felt like, depending on the shot, it maybe had a hair more release on the green with like the mid to slightly longer irons than say like, Z-Star XV or Z-Star or even the Pro V1. It had maybe just a little more release. Nothing crazy, but it seemed like I didn't see as many shots with this just hit and absolutely stop. Now, the other part of that is that it is early in the year, so the greens aren't necessarily perfect. So I'm not going to like knock it and say that's a big issue. But hitting under the green, like I said, very minimal release. As long as you hit a solid shot, if you got it up in the air, you're fine. And then the wedges, it checked up pretty well. Like I said, the same thing. It spun really well around the green. It had great feel. Like I said, the softness of it is really nice around the green, especially with those like really partial shots that you're just taking the club back maybe to like, maybe 9 o'clock at most. It's got a really soft feel. It's easy to kind of feel the ball kind of like compress on the face and go. But those balls check up pretty well. Like I said, maybe just a hair more release than I was used to than with, like I said, Z-Star XV, which is what I was playing mostly. Just maybe a hair more release. But again, it's consistent. It's nothing where you're going to have balls that you hit a chip shot and one of them checks up instantly and then the next one rolls off, 30 feet. They're pretty consistent. When you hit it out of the rough or you hit it off that tight lie, you know what you're going to get with it. And like I said, it wasn't necessarily one hop stop necessarily. It would kind of hit and release a little, but nothing too much. I mean, it really wasn't crazy, which I'm okay with because I've played a ball like the Tour B XS from Bridgestone that you literally would one hop stop on anything, any shot, whether it was a 30-yard pitch, whatever it was. But to me, that ball was really hard to control with the top end of the bag. This one here, like I said, if you get a touch of release, once you play a couple holes, you're going to get used to how far that it goes, which again is a couple feet, maybe a foot, depending on the shot. And you just get used to it and you play for it, and it's really easy to do. I think it's a great ball. I really do. I think it putts really well. That alignment aid, which is a simple little line, I think works really well. It's easy to line up. Like I said, I made some putts last night with it that I needed to, and then the one that I left short, it was right on track, and it was going to hit center cup had I hit it hard enough. But it's overall a really solid ball. I mean, it really is. It plays really well. I think they've got a really good product here. It's worth trying out. I mean, the downside is you can't just get like a sleeve, try them, see if you like them. You're buying 27 golf balls. But I think if you're somebody who's played Pro V1, you've played something like a Z-Star, or a TP5 or something like that, and you've enjoyed it and liked it, I think this fits right in that category, and you should find some success with it, and it should perform really well for you. The other nice thing too is that, when I was playing and people were, walking down the fairway looking at balls, you never had to worry about, a number or anything like that. You just walked up and said, "Is it a sugar?" Yeah, okay, that's me. You never had to worry about it because there was not too many of them out on the course, that's for sure. But like I said, I've noticed, like I said, the short game part of it, the putting, all that, really good. Like I said, the only thing the complaint that I maybe have is that, like I said, it gets pushed around a little bit in the wind, but nothing crazy. As long as, you're hitting solid shots, it's going to be fine. But there definitely wasn't any rise to it or ballooning, anything like that, even into the wind. It would just kind of hold up and go. And like I said, off the tee, it was pretty darn long. So it's a good, a good deal if you're somebody who, you go through some balls. Durability seemed to be pretty solid. I mean, anything off the cart path, if you ripped it off a tree, you're going to see a mark in it. I mean, that's just with any golf ball, doesn't matter. Maybe a range ball, you don't see that, but any, urethane golf ball, you're going to see some marks, and it did. In terms of normal play, I would say after about 9 holes for me, and here's the weird thing is because I played raw irons, so they're rusty irons. After like 9 holes, there were some spots on there where you could see where the rust kind of had transferred itself from the club onto the golf ball, and it didn't really want to come off. But durability overall, I think, was pretty good. I think, you could definitely play a whole round with one ball, and it would be, if you didn't hit it into the woods or hit it into the off a cart path, all that, it should hold up fine. Durability was pretty good. I had like one shot where I noticed, it was absolutely flushed, and I noticed there was a little mark where, where the grooves caught it. But again, I've got raw iron, so I don't know if that same shot would have actually transferred over to the ball with a regular set of, chromed irons. So that part I can't really say. I didn't notice anything with the one wedge that I have that's chrome. I never, didn't notice anything. But durability, I think overall is pretty good. It's going to hold up as good as anything else. And like I said, at $2.56 a golf ball, which even lower if you buy, 2 dozen or 2 sugar cubes, it is a pretty good deal. So it's definitely something worth looking into. If you go to sugar.golf is their website, check out some of their stuff. They've got a lot of testimonials. They've got a bunch of data on there that shows the comparison to the Pro V1. And like I said, I know TXG and some of those guys did some stuff on it as well. But overall, a really solid golf ball. And like I said, for the price, it's one of those that's going to be tough to beat. $2.56 a golf ball. That's quite a bit less than some other tour stuff out there. So I enjoyed playing it. I'll probably play it some more. Excuse me, because it was just, like I said, it's a solid performer. So check them out. Check them out. Like I said, sugar.golf, and see if you want to try some for yourself. So that's all I've got this week. Like I said, I've got some awesome Fuji putter shafts coming next week. I've got some more TSi3 driver stuff to talk about, and probably 3 wood. And then, we'll see what else I can get my hands on. If you want to follow me on Instagram, at ClubJunkiePod, it'd be great if you want to hit me up with questions, anything like that, things that I should maybe try, whatever. Hit me up, let me know. And, it's fun chatting with everybody. I know I've been chatting with some driver shafts and iron shafts with people and stuff like that. On Wednesdays, look for my little Q&A session that I do on there. It's pretty fun. And throw some questions out there, throw some answers at you. And yeah, so that's all I've got this week. Guys, hopefully you play a little bit this weekend. I don't know if I will. I've got a wedding to go to on Saturday. And like I said, after my daughter being a hellion yesterday, I don't know if asking my wife to play golf is the smartest thing right now, but we'll see. Maybe I'll get out and play this weekend. We'll see what I can do. So everybody have a good week, and we'll talk to you next week.